if you could talk a little bit about what you're seeing with the market and overall sort of, state of the talent market, I think that'd be helpful.
Sure. No, it's absolutely. So, as you said, I mean, there's no doubt now that COVID-19 has significantly impacted the job market, especially the small to mid-sized businesses. I mean, as you and your partner group very well knows, I mean, they're having cash flow challenges, even with the opportunities to get small business loans, payroll protection, it's just not enough for a lot of the clients. And as a result, right now you have a lot of companies trimming payroll. They're starting with the variable employees first, right? The consultants, the project related, contract, temporary employees, seasonal employees, but that's just the first wave. Unfortunately, it's going way beyond that. And let's be very candid here. This just isn't limited to the small and mid-sized companies, right? You see Fortune 500 companies laying off, global companies laying off. So it's impacted millions of employees worldwide. I mean, the unemployment claims, I mean, I think they increased by 5 million just yesterday. I mean, it's crazy, right?
It is. It's staggering. I saw a statistic that showed over the past, say, downturns that we've experienced and how, sort of that number, how it's escalated or increased over a few weeks, but nothing as quickly as it has with this COVID-19 crisis. It's accelerating at an abnormal pace.
Now, and you hit on a great point earlier. I mean, we ended 2019 and started 2020 with, some could argue, one of the most robust job markets that was available. Yeah. As a candidate, I always used to say this: the candidate has been king and queen for quite some time right now. Yep. That candidate's getting multiple offers. Their current company doesn't want to lose that talent. Candidates getting counter offers. As a recruiter, it was very hard to close down candidates because candidates had so many options. Yep. And I mean, that was just 6 to 8 weeks ago. And now all of a sudden it's a 180. And right. The job market right now is, I don't want to say it's at a complete standstill, because there are some companies still hiring, but the truth is we went from the most robust job market only 6 to 8 weeks ago to now things almost at a screeching halt. It's just at a flip of a switch. Now all of a sudden the market, which was the tightest candidate market ever, now is flooded with candidates. It's amazing how
it really is. It's incredible. And I think with that said, before we get into, say, how this is impacting the potential employer for these employees, and what that whole job market will look like for a lot of people, that it has completely changed on them when, there was people were hunting after them, and now it's going to be reversed, to start hunting for opportunities perhaps. But if you're, organizations right now that are sort of looking at, how am I going to best position myself? What advice do you have, and how have you been consulting with organizations as they look at their internal talent and plans for how they're going to deal with talent?
For sure. And it's a unique time right now, but I also view it from an organizational standpoint, and we're viewing it this way at WIS, right? We're viewing it almost that there is an opportunity, and people look at me and say there's an opportunity. Well, there is an opportunity for us to look at some candidates, talent, high caliber talent that 6 weeks ago might not even have been a passive job seeker, and now all of a sudden they're on the market. So organizationally, you have to step back and say, what are my essential positions that I know that once things turn, I'm going to hire these positions? you should utilize this opportunity. Start talking to candidates. Start, putting candidates through a process. Have some initial conversations, because this way, as the economy turns and you're ready to essentially say, now we're ready to move forward, this is a perfect time to be ahead of the curve, so to speak. Because once things do start to turn, and it's not to say that a light switch is going to just turn on and everybody's going to start hiring, but 3-4 months from now, suddenly as an organization, I may have a lot more competition for those same candidates that maybe I don't have nearly as much competition right now.
Understood. Good point.
The other aspect of this is with all these unique ways now to interact, like we're interacting with Zoom you have the ability to essentially talk to candidates like you and I are talking right now. Most of these candidates are home, and typically when they're not home, trying to find availability to talk to candidates becomes very challenging. Candidates don't want to take half days to go interview.
Right.
It gets cumbersome and it gets frustrating. Right?
Yep.
So now, you're in a great situation where you can talk to candidates during the day that typically you wouldn't be able to. From a candidate perspective, I don't have to go hide in a conference room somewhere and take a call talking to a company. So this is a super opportunity for organizations, one, to assess, what's in the market right now. What is my strategy in terms of where do I see my organization 6 months from now? What essential positions do I feel like I'm hiring? But at the same time, it's a good time to assess your current talent in the organization. It is a perfect time to look at your organization and say, do I have the right people at the right time, and do they align with the vision of where I see our organization evolving to?
Great. That's a great way to look at it.
And that is where then you could potentially see the opportunities to say, hey, maybe I have now an opportunity to upgrade. Maybe the skills in my organization that were relevant a year ago might not necessarily be relevant now. So use this time to perform an overall operating model assessment of your talent, because you have the best chance for the next 6, 8, 10 weeks, maybe to pursue talent that in the past wasn't there.
Right.